Hello, welcome back to Podium Pop. We have a fun episode here for you all today. We have our friends Ryan and Patrick here. They have their own podcast called Outside Line Media. We're going to do a bit of interviewing, talk to them how they got into motorsport, and it's going to be good. Ready to get started?
Yeah.
Let's pop the bottle and get into today's episode.
Awesome. So, Ryan, Patrick, you have a podcast. Tell us a little bit about your podcast and how it started.
Yeah, so it started kind of just as an idea last year sometime, like towards the end of the season in 2024. And New Year hit. Y'all were going down to Daytona. Unfortunately, I was not going to be down there, but
Me either.
yeah, decided that was like the perfect time to just jump off and start a podcast that was approachable for both new fans and experienced fans, try to kind of catch everyone in one big bucket and just build a community around it.
Nice. Yeah. I know we, speaking of Daytona, so me and Ryan we drove down to Daytona in the same car, and we were just casually driving along, heading through middle of nowhere, Tennessee at like 2 a.m., and he's like, oh, by the way, me and Patrick are starting a podcast. I'm like, you can't just casually drop that.
I did. It's fine.
It's the most casual thing ever. We're like, okay, great. This is super exciting. And then also, whenever you all posted your first episode, like, you didn't tell us. Like, Ryan didn't say anything to us about it. Like, you didn't say, hey, we posted it if you want to go check it out. Nothing. I just accidentally scrolled and saw it. I was like, oh.
Crazy.
I had to let the algorithm do its thing.
Gotta let the algorithm work.
Yeah, let the algorithm work.
It did work.
Yep. So yeah, we met Ryan and Patrick. Well, we met Ryan. I don't remember the first time we met Ryan, but we became close friends with Ryan last year. We actually know him through his sister. We're friends with his sister. And then we met Patrick last year. The first time we met Patrick was actually when we were all going to the Mid-Ohio IndyCar race together.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the first interaction we had with him was at a racetrack.
Like, do you guys want to share an Airbnb?
Yeah. It was honestly.
That's literally how it was.
Yeah.
The Airbnb that we got was really close
That's
to the
so
track,
good.
and like
That was
it
a great
the
Airbnb.
perfect size for the amount of people we had. We had like what, six people?
Yeah. It was perfect. I like
Yeah,
how
five
close it was.
people.
I like randomly found it too.
Yeah,
In the middle of nowhere, Ohio.
yeah.
I mean, in the middle of Ohio.
Mid Ohio. Okay, awesome. Can you tell us a little bit what series? And you all watch a lot of motorsport series. Can you tell us a little bit about what you watch, which ones maybe like your favorite, and how you got into motorsport in general?
Yeah.
Ooh,
So
that's a loaded question.
that's a lot.
This is really controversial, actually. Like, which one's your favorite? Like,
IMSA. I'll say it. I'll say it. I'm not afraid to say it. IMSA's my favorite. But the
Same
main
with
ones I try to 100% keep up with are IMSA, IndyCar, F1, and NASCAR. I try to dabble in everything else, but my brain only has so much room. So to like actually understand what's going on, probably just those.
I think, I mean, it's mostly the same for me. I try to dabble a little bit more into like the junior categories too. So following like USF 2000 and Indy Next.
Yeah.
Then I also dabble a lot in American motorcycle racing, so like Moto America, that kind of stuff, because it's honestly some of the best racing out there.
Yeah, it is good. I try. It's just there's so many names, and my brain can only remember so many. I'll watch it, but I don't know a single name. So
Yeah, I can barely keep up with IndyCar and F1. I'm gonna be honest.
I've started watching IMSA this year, and then I want to watch Elms, and I've also been trying to keep up with Indy Next. You know, obviously there's only been one race, but I watched Indy Next that week, and I want to keep up with that. I would like to say I want to keep up with F2, but because like my brain knows that Gracie handles F2, it's like I can like turn my brain off because I'm like, at least she has it. Like that's her territory.
Yeah, and that way you don't have to wake up like 3 hours before an F1
Yeah.
race. That's it.
I'm gonna have to be up so early this weekend.
You're a real strong soldier there.
That's the one downside of watching junior series in Europe.
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I am
scheduled
sad actually.
gone.
F2 is like the one series they didn't come to America last year or this year.
I don't think they've ever been.
Have they never?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so like if we want to watch an F2 race, like we're gonna have to travel pretty far, I think.
Yeah.
How'd you all start watching motorsport? It's been like your whole life? Is it more recent?
Kind of on and off through my whole life. My dad used to fly for Coletta, which is basically a cargo company that does drag racing as a fun thing.
Oh, cool.
So I've always kind of been dabbling in motorsports, but I really got into it probably like 2018, like 2017. I was getting into like rally racing, a lot of like WRC. And then like 2018, 2019, started watching F1 a little bit more, and then started keeping up fully with IndyCar last year.
I watched NASCAR when I do not remember this, but when I was like a child, my dad would turn NASCAR on for me. And I don't really remember much of it, but
No, that's
I
what
watched it. And then I really got into F1. I would watch from like 2016 on, I would watch like one or two races randomly. Never knew what was going on. And then really like same time as Patrick, because we're friends, obviously it made sense. 2017, 2018 when it really went into full following it mode. And then same as him, IndyCar really started following last year. And then IMSA, same thing, really last year. So I really stepped up my watching of it. I've seen on and off, but this is like the most serious I've ever taken it with actually trying to understand what's going on.
Kind of guess. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
we got really into IndyCar last year too.
Yeah, IndyCar was, I feel like a lot of people made the transition into watching
Yeah.
IndyCar like full time last year. It felt like there was like a really big, I mean, especially like we see it more in like the TikTok like online community.
Yeah.
Because we were involved with it already before, just with F1 and having the podcast. And then it feels like everyone was like learning IndyCar, gonna follow IndyCar this year, like any tips or any tricks, that kind of thing. So we kind of went on that journey with like a lot of people last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird just kind of seeing IndyCar spike in popularity last
Yeah,
year.
And with Fox coming in too, like, you know, obviously St. Pete was like the most watched IndyCar race since 2011.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's exciting. Like, it's kind of, I think, a lot of the fans, like, it's same thing with people, Formula One, you know, original fans being like, DTS fan, you're a DTS fan. So I wonder how like the IndyCar, like the OG IndyCar fans feel about this huge surge, but I've only been
I think
like,
they're just excited people are watching.
yeah,
Yeah.
It
I've
seems
seen them
positive.
a lot
Yeah.
more welcoming than like the Formula One fans. I think like the OGs.
Yeah, I don't think there's as elitist of a mindset with some. Not that all F1 fans are elitist. I'm an F1 fan, but you know what I mean.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's an expensive sport, and you
Yeah.
know, with that, you're gonna have people that aren't. And I feel like IndyCar was at its worst possible state like a couple years ago, so they're probably just happy that people are caring and that social media is picked up, and hopefully Fox can get it together. And
I mean, the series probably would have died if Roger Penske hadn't picked it up.
yeah,
in
as much as we hate
2020,
Roger Penske kind of has single-handedly carried it. So thanks, Roger, I
Too
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. We hate his teams, not what he's done for the sport.
We can all agree on that.
That's one thing we might actually only all agree on.
Until Lil Dave's in Penske.
I like
next
Scott
year.
McLaughlin, but internally he's not a Penske driver. He's ascended Penske. All right,
Look, as long as they weren't cheating in St. Pete this year, we're good.
We're fine. Hey, we won't find out for another 2 weeks though. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think the new fans, IMSA fans too, have been like super welcome, especially online. I've posted like a couple of videos about IMSA and been like, hey guys, I have no idea what's going on. Like, what is this? What is that? And everyone's been super like excited about fans just learning more about it rather than them trying to like gatekeep it. So yeah, I think that IndyCar is pretty similar.
yeah.
Well, speaking of Penske, what do you guys think the probability of Joseph having a three-peat at the 500 is?
I don't think he
Is that
can.
wishful thinking, or do you genuinely think that he won't win again?
His luck's going to run out. I mean, everyone
Yeah.
knows the Indy 500's, 50% luck, 50% skill. You got to be there at the end of the race, but stuff happens.
Yeah.
So I just don't think it's possible for him to have that luck.
If there's anyone that could three-peat, yeah, Joseph Newgarden.
would
But
be
also, I think he can't keep getting this lucky, right? Like,
We can't
surely,
keep letting him get away with this.
surely, eventually, it's going to catch up
It's
to
got
him.
to be Pato's year this year. I mean,
Yeah.
he's come so close so many times. It
It's-
needs to be his year.
And with the commercial, it would just be so perfect.
Mhm.
Oh,
with his
would.
commercial.
Great
It would be great advertising. I hope so, but I just don't let it be him again, man. Like,
Anyone but him.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm sick of seeing Joseph Newgarden celebrating at the Indy 500.
2 years
It
is
gets
enough.
old.
The
It gets
milk
old.
shots. I don't
I'll
know.
take an Elio win though. I'll take him getting
Ooh,
5.
That'd be kind of insane if he won.
Yeah, his Daytona race didn't go that well, but we don't talk about that.
didn't
I
happen.
heard about that. I didn't watch, but I did hear.
Didn't
about
happen.
Didn't
That.
happen.
Wendy's. That was a good
Wendy's
time.
card. The Wendy's card was taken out, unfortunately.
Oh. What's next?
Okay, well, we talked a little bit about IndyCar. Predictions wise, end of year, who's winning the championship this year?
I think it's gonna be Scott McLaughlin.
Okay.
I think so. I think he's obviously got the car. He's got the team.
But
Unfortunately,
you said Scott McLaughlin in your preseason predictions, but with one race being down, do you still think that?
yeah, I think he was
Yeah.
right there. I mean, granted, not the greatest result, but he's still there. The car's fast. You know,
Patrick,
Sure.
what about you?
I think I said Colton on my preseason, and after watching St. Pete, I am not feeling that confident about it.
I also said Colton.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I saw something where you either have an incompetent strategy and an amazing pit crew with Andretti, an incompetent pit crew and an amazing strategy, or when they get both of those right, that's when he crashes into a wall.
Yeah.
I think he's gotten better in recent years. Andretti needs to figure their stuff out. They're the Ferrari of IndyCar.
Wow. Well,
Great drivers, but their strategy and their pit crews, they just got to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Were you shocked by anything from St. Pete? Like maybe people did better than you were expecting or worse than you were expecting?
I think Lundgaard did better than I was expecting.
I did not think
Me too.
Lundgaard was going to do good, to be honest, at all.
Yeah, I mean,
He did the
first,
best out of all of the arrows too.
Which is crazy.
yeah, first year in a new team, and he's walking over everyone. I mean, Pato had a great recovery drive, but that quality was just a mess from McLaren's side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I knew that Meyer Shank was supposed to be good, but I was pretty impressed with how they did during qualifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of them in the Fast Six was wild.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it
Yeah,
would
it's
translate
not
into the
what
race, but that's
Thought
fine.
they would be.
Yeah. They were doing
Yeah,
pretty
just bad
good during the race
strategy.
for a while.
Yeah, that's true.
Moving into Formula One, I know strongly Ryan's opinion on his favorite team, but I don't, and I've heard some rumblings from Patrick, but I don't actually know. Patrick, or Ryan, go ahead and tell everyone who you support.
Ferrari, till the
Yeah.
day I die.
Yeah. Patrick, are you also Ferrari, or do you have a different team?
I've transitioned into Ferrari.
From what? From what?
I was a Haas fan. I still am a Haas fan at heart. And I was a Williams fan. There's just been there's just been some things with those backmarker teams that I wasn't a huge fan of. I think they should have probably not signed Logan for another year or dropped him at the break instead of after the break.
Mm-hmm.
And then just the whole replacing him with Colapinto and then not having a seat for Colapinto this year, like that whole situation, that kind of turned me off of Williams a little bit. Still a huge Albon fan, but Ferrari and Haas. I'm excited. I think that's as good of a driver as you're going to get in a team like that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
100%.
They were lucky.
So we'll see what happens with them. They've been trying to rebuild for 20 years now.
They'll get it
Ish.
eventually. They'll get it
Eventually they'll be there.
2026 is apparently going to be their year, so.
I've heard that one before.
You've said that one before. 2025 is our year.
It will be.
No.
No?
Williams?
Well,
No, for Ferrari.
No,
Oh,
they're
no.
saying for Ferrari.
Sorry. That's not happening. We want to talk about who you all think of like the midfield backmarker teams is gonna be the best and kind of win it all, get that like 5th, 6th place?
It's got to be Haas, I think, with Toyota coming in.
I think Haas is going to get 5th. That's what I said.
With Toyota coming in and Behrman.
They've got a good driver lineup as long as Ocon can keep his nose clean and not crash into Behrman.
Yeah.
As long as they can just be chill teammates.
Yeah, as long as they keep it civil, I think that car looked pretty good near the end of last year, and they were taking leaps and strides. They have a bigger pit. They have a bigger like pit wall thingy now. You see that?
Yeah, they don't have to save 250 anymore.
Yeah, they're upgrades. They got their own simulator finally. I mean, they're gonna. I think it's gonna be their year.
Yeah, the whole not having their own simulator thing was wild.
Yeah,
That is crazy.
They'd be like, we finally have the money to have our own sim.
Well, and now they've got
I'm excited for
Toyotas.
Haas.
Yeah, they've got Toyota's wind tunnel now that they can use
Yeah.
too. So having not their own wind tunnel, but a technical partner's wind tunnel, I could see them maybe slowly moving away from Ferrari in the coming years. Possibly even Toyota bringing their own PU in sometime in the future. Maybe 2028 try to match Cadillac, but
yeah.
who knows?
What about you, Pat?
Yeah,
What do you think?
I am. I mean, with Haas, it's just crazy to think, like you were saying, like ranking them like 5th.
Mhm.
Like for them to be above Aston Martin is also just kind of crazy to like even consider. But Aston Martin's been so like
I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about them this year.
they've not like the last 2 years, especially the last year, they haven't really they haven't done good, they haven't done bad. It's like people, I kind of forget they're there sometimes.
Yeah, they're just kind of there.
I mean, especially they've been doing. They did so well in what was that 2022, I guess now, and then they just fell off a cliff. Like every single upgrade they brought didn't work for the car; it made it worse.
Yeah, but
Maybe
you also have to
that'll help.
consider Adrian Newey this year.
I think that takes time, though.
Yeah, he just started. He just started last week.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's going to be a year or two before you feel any effect of Adrian
Yeah.
Newey being at the team. This year.
2026 could be a good year for Aston.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw how they did with the last rule change, and then I think having Newey. Well, we saw the same thing with Red Bull last year, honestly, where the upgrades weren't really doing much for the car. And it was making it more pointy, more undrivable. Even Max was complaining about the car, and that's a guy who can drive anything you throw at him, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, if Max is complaining, there's something wrong.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, and then 2026 we have Cadillac coming in. What are you all thinking? Who are you thinking for the seat?
That's the team I'm backing. Is it?
Okay.
Yeah,
That's strong.
I'm changing
That's someone that
sides
doesn't
to
have the
Cadillac.
You only
Jumping
have Ferrari for
ship.
1 year.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I can only take 1 year of pain already.
No dedication.
That's so fair.
It is an Andretti-backed team, though, so I am a little bit nervous about the logistical side and the operations, but...
You know,
Yeah.
it's also funny. Patrick's talking a lot of shit about Andretti. That is also his favorite IndyCar team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love Andretti. It's my favorite IndyCar team. It's like being a Ferrari fan.
But who do you think that Cadillac is going to sign for their drivers?
I don't think it's Colton Herta. I really don't. And also, he doesn't have his super license. Like, he still has to do good this year to get his
He
super
has to
license.
get P4 or best.
P4 or better.
this
And, like,
year.
not saying I don't think he'll do that, but that is still something.
I don't know, we saw St. Pete went.
Like, I almost think they might want to get someone that they know is going to be ready for next year and start. Because I'm thinking you want to start developing your drivers sooner rather than later. I really have no clue. I think Colton's an option. I don't think he'll end up. I don't even know if he wants to. Really.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't have any idea who they're going to sign. Like, there's so many options from feeder series or former drivers. Like, it really depends what route they want to go. If they want to go with the fully new drivers develop, or if they want to get some talent and a new driver to kind of try to develop.
Yeah,
I just don't know how Cadillac thinks about that stuff.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so interesting.
I have a theory. They honestly, I think, would be smart to bring in Checo. I know that Checo had a really not great year last year at Red Bull, but I think that he brings experience that they are needing, and then they could bring in a rookie with him. And also, like, while he's not from the United States, he's still from North America, and the fans of Mexico are like looking for somewhere to go, and I think that they
Yeah.
would embrace Cadillac, and I think that'd be really smart for their sponsorships. I think Checo is a great plan to like bring in, and then I don't know who the other driver would be, but maybe someone from the feeder series, maybe someone from Formula 2 that's looking for a spot.
Yeah.
But I think that's a pretty obvious one.
I think it's
Yeah.
a good choice for sure.
I think Checo's a good option. My like dream lineup for Cadillac is Valtteri Bottas as the experienced driver who can help develop the car, and then Jack Crawford. Look, he's not going anywhere with Aston Martin.
No.
Like, you've got Alonso and Stroll there. Get Jack Crawford in that
And,
Cadillac seat.
He's stuck just like Felipe is, which sucks.
Yeah. No, I think he would be great, and he would be, the United States, the American driver.
Yeah.
I think that would be a great lineup as well.
Wow, I didn't think about that.
Bring Logan back. Why not? Look, I love Logan, but bring him back. We didn't have nearly enough safety cars last year. It made the races kind of boring. So, like, bring it back to spice it up.
5 rookies this year, so
Yeah, we're gonna have issues this year.
That's
don't
true.
worry.
That's true.
These boys are gonna be spinning.
I mean, we saw it. Kimmy's Monza test was a lap and 3/4. The dude's fat. Kimmy's gonna be like Max, I think, when he started. He's gonna be super fast, but he's gonna crash.
I think so.
Yeah.
Do you all think there's going to be any rookies that outscore their teammates?
Ooh.
I gotta think who's on what team.
Kimmy, George.
I could see. Is Behrman still considered a rookie, even though he's
Technically.
Behrman?
Yeah,
I could
is.
see Behrman over Ocon, outscoring him.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? The whole like who's considered a rookie or not? Because obviously, like I think Formula One's like official rule is what, like 3 races?
I think it's 3 races.
But on the official like FIA Instagram,
They show
had
Lawson.
a list of the drivers, and it literally was like these people like in this color are rookies. Like there was a note of it, and they considered Liam Lawson a rookie.
Which is crazy because he's the furthest thing from a rookie. Honestly, like he's like
so.
Yeah.
Was weird.
I get it. He's had 11 races in weird ways, but he's not a rookie.
11 races is
Yeah.
that's a veteran right there.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do in Red Bull this year, but
I think
I'm
it's
afraid
really
that
telling.
it's-
I mean, he's fast.
yeah. I'm afraid that it's going to be another Red Bull promoting someone too soon, and this is going to be a repeat of Gasly and Albon.
Well, who would you think? Do you think they should have kept Checo, or who else do you think should be in that seat then?
No, they shouldn't have kept Checo. I'm a Danny Rick fan, but I can't even say that he should have been in that seat. I think they should have hopped on Carlos.
Yeah, I
think
agree.
so.
Like, I mean, really, you've got somebody who was competitive with his teammate, but then ultimately would follow team orders if they were given. That's what you need. You need somebody that will push Max, and I think Max is faster than Carlos, but Carlos definitely, if Max crashes out or has a mechanical issue, he's going to be right there to score points.
Yeah.
And probably get a win.
Yep.
Yeah, we were big on the Carlos to Red Bull team.
We wanted it so bad. And it is interesting though, because both Carlos and Max come from, racing families, and obviously there's all of the drama where everyone was like, Carlos Sainz Sr. and Josh Verstappen could never, work on the same team. It's like, okay, it doesn't really matter what the dads do. Like,
and they literally worked on the
career.
same team their first year in F1.
Yeah, they'll deal with it to get a Red Bull seat, I think, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But
is there but as far as like the rookies go, who do you think is going to rise to the challenge, and who do you think might have some trouble? Keep in mind, watch what you say, because we're huge Gabby Bortoletto fans.
We know it's a Sauber, okay?
yeah, I know. That one, I'm not even considering Gabby because he's in a Sauber.
Yeah, you've not much you can do about
Look,
that.
as long as he keeps it out of the wall, he's going to have... That's successful for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a great teammate that he's trying to measure up against, so that's going to be hard, rising to the challenge of being with Hulk. I think Behrman's going to do really well. I mean, we saw how he did in his F1 debut at Saudi Arabia, which being able to just finish that race also in the points is wild as your first F1 race. So I think he's really going to rise to the challenge. I want to say Lawson will, but you never know with Red Bull.
Yeah.
You don't know where that car's at, and it's Max Verstappen. He's not going to come anywhere close to his teammate.
Yeah, I think Jack Doohan might struggle. I don't have much evidence to back this, but
I mean, he's got the Franco Colapinto cloud hanging over his head.
Really.
That's
yeah,
a lot of pressure.
like he
So much.
kind of already has his exit papers signed. Like,
Yeah.
He's on what,
Yeah.
6-race contract or something like
say
that?
something
Yeah.
dumb.
Which would put it, of course, it'd be like right before Miami. So like we like Jack a lot as well. I just hope that he makes it to where we're able to watch him race in Miami.
Just like once.
Just once. We just want to see
Yeah.
him once. I mean, more than that, obviously, I would hope. We were able to see Franco race last year in Vegas.
And Coda.
And Coda, yeah. So we're really hoping to get to.
I love Jack.
Yeah.
He, like, the rookies came out and I was like, ooh, Jack's gonna be a rookie. Like, obviously I love Gabby, that's like always there. And then it was like, oh, Jack's not gonna probably get a full season.
Yeah. I mean, he's just with Alpine, too.
yeah,
so
that's also
Alpine's going to Alpine.
I don't trust them. I really don't.
No.
Did y'all watch any of DTS this new season?
The new season, I haven't
no,
watched
I've
it
not.
yet.
I've not.
I probably
When
will at
Fabio
some
comes
point,
back into
but
it, it's insane.
No, it's kind of scary.
The way he's portrayed, I mean, like, I know that's how he is too, but the way he's portrayed was crazy.
It literally,
Yeah.
like, he literally looked like a supervillain, like, arriving to the fight. Like,
I mean, he kind of is a super villain.
I mean, are we not going to
Honestly.
talk about the fact that he purposely told his driver to crash?
Yeah, he kind of is a super villain. I don't know how he's wiggles his way back, but
That's actually
It's
such a
because it's
question.
Alpine. That's the only team that would touch him is Alpine.
There's literally like a scene where Carlos was about to sign with Williams, and then they're like, "Why didn't you sign with Williams?" And he goes, "Flavio called me," and I was like, "Oh my god!"
classic.
Crazy.
oh,
Yeah, that's just. Yeah, I haven't watched I've seen some stuff on social media about the new season, but I haven't watched it yet.
I didn't really watch it. I watched the first season, and then I didn't watch anything else when I became a fan. This one was really good though,
Mhm.
and I normally don't like. I don't know. That's not like the type of like show I keep up with, but I really liked it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen all of the seasons. That's actually how I got into Formula One. And I will say this one I enjoyed the most, but it's also harder for me to watch this season because whenever I watched the first like 5 seasons, 4 or 5 seasons, without knowing anything. So I was like gasping. I was like, what? Daniel's moving from Red Bull to Red Bull? Like, shocked by it. And then like last season we watched, and I kept up with Formula One, obviously, the years are so hard these days. In 2023, I kept up with Formula One, but I didn't keep up with it as much as I did last season. Like last season, I was like in deep, you know?
Yeah.
And so watching Drive to Survive with all of like how they structured the episodes, like it's not in chronological
No.
order. There's a
Yeah.
bunch of skips. They portray things weirdly where I'm like, I know that didn't happen.
That's the beef I've got, like them portraying Max as like a supervillain in Miami when Lando got the win.
Them
No,
showing the
literally,
Zandvoort
it's-
clips and not the Miami clips was crazy.
Yeah. And it's like, no, if you just watched the race, you saw the podium that they were on, and like everyone was hyped for Lando getting that win.
Yeah.
Like even me, not being the biggest Lando supporter, I was hyped for him finally getting that
Yeah.
race win because
Yeah.
he had it coming for the longest time.
Yeah.
And also, they portrayed Spa as the fact that George won it and never got disqualified too. So
Yeah, they really got him being disqualified.
that's wild. That's
that was
such
like
a big
redemption
thing.
episode for him. It was crazy.
What?
Like
You
literally,
could tell they
like,
had-
and George Russell wins, and then done.
Yeah, because the whole episode was based around like Toto being like, I need to have like a leader for the team. I need to have someone that's consistent and can, really take control now that Lewis is gone. And then they showed George having some bad races and then having some crashes. And then they show Spa, and we're like, that's great, but like he didn't even win it. Like,
Yeah.
he got disqualified.
Absolutely wild.
Yeah, that's
So it's interesting how they kind of pick and choose what to portray. But
It's
I
a
mean,
soap
all in all,
opera
though,
at the
it
end
was-
of the day. It's a reality TV show.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like they make it because you know,
That's what people want to see.
people want to see, like, they don't,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I would want to see it
Well, yeah.
as it is, but
Yeah.
most people that watch Drive to Survive don't even, like, watch the races.
Yeah.
I would guess. Majority of them watch it, like, casually.
Yeah, there was a influx of just sports documentaries that people were obviously wanting to watch, and they're like, well, they're gonna watch this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did.
And honestly, like, Drive to Survive, like, obviously they had those sports documentaries and shows like that before, but I feel like Netflix really, like, hit its stride with Drive to Survive.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got, like, the golf show, and then they had the NASCAR one, and all the other, like,
tennis,
bunch of other...
everything.
Yeah.
Every series is doing it now.
Yeah.
Racing and just sports in general. They have to hop on the train and
That's why I love 100 Days to India. It doesn't do as much sensationalism. It's more just a behind the scenes look into
Yeah,
the
that's
drivers.
more personable. That's why I really liked it.
Yeah.
Which that's what I feel like season 1 was in Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
Like I remember watching that and it's like, oh, this is just who the drivers are outside of the track. And now they're leaning really hard into the drama side of everything and manufacturing stuff. There was enough drama this season.
yeah, you don't need to
They didn't need to edit
manufacture
it in.
We literally do not need to make anything out of it.
But, I mean, if it gets fans to watch, I guess keep doing what they do. Obviously, I'd prefer if they, dramatize it. Obviously, that's the whole point. But if it gets fans, it gets fans. Granted, F1's not really hurting for fans, but
Yeah.
the more the merrier.
And the IndyCar one being on Fox Nation's not going to help it at all.
No.
No.
At
I
least
will
it's
not
going to
be-
be somewhere at all. Like, we thought
That's
that
true.
originally it was just going to stop.
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just going to have to binge watch it in my 7-day free trial.
Yeah, I'm not buying
Oh,
Fox.
yeah.
I'm not buying Fox.
And I'll
Nation.
make a new email for the next year.
Just keep making new ones every year.
Yeah, I'm not giving my money to Fox like that.
No.
Yeah, and that's
Not until they figure out how to show me the hybrid data during the freaking races.
Yeah.
Or push
Well,
the
not
pass
until
or
they can get me on the
anything.
right onboard.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or even let the commentators know who's on board it's on. Like,
Yeah.
watching
Yeah.
St. Peter, it's just, we think this is this person's on board. Oh, no, it's actually someone else's.
Yeah.
No, them being like, we're on Pato's onboard, and then watching Pato drive past.
Yeah.
That's not Pato. Crazy.
Wrong guy.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Yeah.
the commentators, how do you think Will Buxton did for commentating for his first
Loved
IndyCar
it.
race?
Bill Buxton is Will Buxton, and I'm glad he's in.
It's hard to step into Lee Diffie's shoes, but I love
Yeah.
Will Buxton. It kind of, Lee Diffie, it felt like he was calling a race. Will Buxton feels like he's just kind of there with you and you're watching a race with your friends. Like, he
that's
kind of
such
had
a
a more natural feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think he did. I think
I
we
agree.
love Will Buxton. He is, like you said, like, Will Buxton's gonna Will Buxton. I find him hilarious.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
Will Buxton. I can't get enough of him.
Yeah, and we actually, like, kind of compared it, like, you know how, like, now that Carlos went from, like, Ferrari to Williams, you're seeing a lot more of his, like, personality shine through, and he's, like, definitely being, like, goofier on social media, and just, like, he's not as, like, PR, like, in, like, a box, I guess.
Yeah.
And we were, like, talking about that, like, I wonder if we'll get to see even more of Will Buxton now that IndyCar's definitely got to be more relaxed than, like, Formula One about, like, what they're allowed to share with, like...
I mean, if you've ever watched Java with James, then I think that just sums up IndyCar in
Yeah,
general.
exactly.
It's such a good series.
I'm so glad they're keeping it running. I was afraid
Yeah.
we were going to lose that, but we got it still.
So you guys are Ferrari fans. Back to F1 real quick. How do you
Yep.
think it's going to go between Charles and Lewis? Who's coming out on top?
Charles. That's
Okay.
That was a fast answer.
You gotta respect Ryan.
No,
for
you
staying
do,
Yeah.
true to his opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's going to be just as close, if not closer, than last year. But I mean, I think Lewis is going to win races, but I also
Yeah.
think Charles is going to win more. So
The end of the season last year was a little bit worrying from a Lewis Hamilton standpoint. I don't know if that was just him being burnt out, being at Mercedes and being screwed over for the past 3 years. But I don't know. It makes me a little bit nervous for him. I do think Charles is going to beat him this year because I don't think Ferrari's going to let Lewis beat Charles.
Ooh, I was
Because
gonna
Charles,
have a
their
question.
golden boy.
I think, Charles is going to get the team definitely favorability from the team, which I think Twitter is going to be all out war
Oh my God,
I'm
internally.
scared.
The
At least
internal
it's not
war
my
of
driver's
Ferrari
side.
fans. I'm terrified of the. I might not get on Twitter with the word. I might mute the word Ferrari because for my own personal safety and mental health.
Can I block hashtag Team LH? I mean, usually Team
And
LH is
hashtag
fine.
Tifosi?
There's Team LH and there's Colt LH. Two very different people.
Yeah, no, they're absolutely.
I mean, and I'm not going to act like Charles Leclerc fans are sane. Like, it's going to be just as bad. It's going to be.
Tifosi's gonna Tifosi.
Yeah, it's going to be brutal. But I'm excited. I think whoever does good, I think they'll eventually embrace him after some fighting internally. But I definitely think it's Charles. I think Lewis is still one of the best, but he's definitely on the downward of his career.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be at that age.
Like statistically, he is the greatest driver of all time.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And but Father Time always wins unless you're Fernando Alonso for some reason. But
I think Father Time's getting to Fernando Alonso.
yeah, I think Father Stroll is getting to Fernando. Unfortunately,
well, that too.
It's gonna be interesting seeing. We saw Fernando we saw the McLaren Fernando start coming out a little bit towards the end of the season with Aston, where he was complaining about his engine, and you can tell there's some cracks forming in that relationship.
He also kept getting sick, Fernando.
Yeah, we were. He had near the end, he had that one race. Where he's calling sick to work. No, he was getting sick, and then also he was complaining about having really bad back problems. And one of them he couldn't even he could barely get out of the car.
Yeah, that was sad. I remember watching that.
Yeah, that was so sad.
I mean, no, Father Time definitely caught him just way later than most people get caught by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Dude's ancient.
God bless him, truly. Wishing him all the best, truly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing about Drive to Survive with Fernando is Aston Martin is not in Drive to Survive at all.
Huh.
Fernando, Lance, they aren't in it. They're not talked about, at least so far. We're up one more episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have almost again they didn't
but also
do anything bad, but
what did Aston Martin do this year?
Exactly. It's just so I just keep forgetting that they exist.
Yeah. There wasn't much to show from them.
They're a very anonymous team. Just they're there.
Radar.
They had a very forgettable couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to pick Lawrence Stroll's brain.
I'm scared of it.
I would, yeah, for sure. But
so talking a little bit about your all's 2025. What races do you all plan to go to, and what races this year that you want to go to?
Do we need to pull up the spreadsheet?
I'm pulling up the spreadsheet.
Ooh, spreadsheet. I've actually seen the spreadsheet, I think.
It's
so every Mid-Ohio race we're going to go to because we both have Mid-Ohio season passes.
Plus more at Mid-Ohio. So the 5 big races, and then there's some club racing that's some endurance weekends there that's 7 or 8 hour races. Gonna try to make it to a couple of those.
Indy Road Course.
Oh, I see double.
Indy 500. Yeah, there's so many races on it. Indy Road Course, Indy 500. Want to go to IMSA at Indianapolis.
Maybe Indy at Gateway.
That's probably up. We want to go to Nashville again for sure.
Yeah.
IndyCar season finale again. And then our local Florence Speedway, Lawrenceburg Speedway dirt racing. Probably plenty of those.
I have that on my calendar, by the way.
Yes. We've got one of the drag strips, Edgewater Sports Car Park, they're starting a rallycross schedule this year. So they're going to have some rallycross going. I'm going to try to make it out to one of those races. What else do we got? I feel like there's one more at the very bottom. GT World Challenge at Indianapolis.
Indy 8 hour just like last year.
If the stars align, Petit Le Mans.
Yeah, that would be a. It would have to be a lot of stars aligning, but I would love to go to Petit Le Mans this year.
Well, we'll make it work.
If we're willing to drive an hour to and from the track, Ryan. I got family down there. We'll figure it out.
They might align. We'll see.
I know. Obviously, we're all going to go to Mid-Ohio IndyCar this year. We already have that plan. And then I'm still attempting to go to the Mid-Ohio IMSA race with you all. which I will be camping, which we'll see how that goes.
Camping at a racetrack is the greatest way to experience a race.
Yeah,
it'll be my first time camping for many years. But if
it's not even really camping. We got
It's
air.
glamping.
You get an air mattress. You have your
Yeah.
car. There's showers.
but there's
showers
AC.
somewhere.
You can hop in the car and turn your car on. There's AC.
Okay, actually, yeah, it's making
First week of
sense.
June.
At least it's not like mid-July.
Yeah. I mean, in knowing mid-Ohio, the bigger threat's to rain, but
Yeah.
Oh my god! Well,
And the
no,
wind.
I can do it. It'll be
Didn't you guys' tents flood last year?
yep,
Yep.
they flipped.
I do remember getting a text from Brian, and I was like, "Oh, I'm out," and he's like, "My tent's flooded." I was like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah, I had a cooler.
Gateway.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, my whole cooler flipped with my tent and dumped all the ice out onto all my clothes and my sleeping bag.
No.
We got bigger stakes now, though. It's not going to happen. We got bigger stakes. We're going to put them
Did we
further
get
in the
bigger
ground.
stakes yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're ready.
We're
There
ready.
you go.
I'm excited to experience it with you all. So
Yeah.
is
There's
when
just
did
something
Ohio
special.
start? Like, when's your first race there? Referencing
Maybe first week of April. The World Racing League's racing there, so they do some GT cars and some prototypes.
Oh, cool.
Just like some local racing, basically. But the first big race is the IMSA race,
Okay.
It's June 8th.
which is June 8th.
Hey, do you guys want to start a 24 Hours of Lemons team?
I'm so
Look,
in.
we've
We've talked about this for so many
24
years.
Hours of Lemons and Champ Car. It's basically the same regulations.
Okay, perfect.
We might actually be going down. We're running a very tight schedule of maybe going down on Saturday and Sunday for the Champ Car race at NCM
Whoa.
at
Where
the
is that?
Corvette. The Corvette Museum down in Bowling Green, their
okay.
racetrack.
Not too bad.
I got very conflicting emails of you'll hear back if you get a press pass, and you'll get your press pass a week before the race. So we're figuring out if we're going down or not.
Mhm.
Okay.
That would be
That'd
really
be so
cool.
fun.
Yeah, we might just go down for one day and do some coverage of it. It's just a cool local grassroots racing. I saw one of their practices 2 years ago. I was driving to get down to go see my brother, and I always stop at the Corvette Museum when I'm driving down to Nashville. That's my food and gas stop, and I heard
That's a good stop.
I heard some cars over at the racetrack, so I drove over there just to see what was going on, and just a cool little racing league.
Oh, that's awesome.
If you could go to, I mean, I'm talking like anywhere in the world, maybe like your top 3 dream tracks to visit, whether it be for any racing series, but like tracks wise, where would you want to go?
Spa,
Uh-huh.
Nürburgring, Monza. I think that's the. Well, no, I have to put Watkins Glen or Laguna Seca in there. Laguna.
Corkscrew, you need it.
I need it. I need it biblically. I need to see the corkscrew. Specifically, some motorcycles going out corkscrew would be crazy, but honestly, anything IndyCar,
Yeah.
GT, I really don't care. Just corkscrew.
The
Need it.
IndyCar race, I don't remember if I watched Laguna Seca this year, but I watched
It was
it
crazy.
in
It was.
Car went airborne.
2023, and it was wild.
It always is.
Like, just dive bombs into corkscrew. I don't even do that in iRacing.
I can't even.
I'm not even that wild in the sim. I got to
would
agree,
love to go to
Laguna
Watkins
Seca.
Glen.
Oh,
Yeah. But Spa, Nürburgring, both of those go to the 24 hours of
Yes,
the
both.
Nordschleifer and the
Yes.
24 hours of Spa.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I need those. I need those 2 races.
I want to go to Le Mans. So
I would
badly.
love
Le Mans would
to go
be
to
sick.
Le Mans.
Yeah.
Le Mans would be sick.
Look, I could do a dream list of just European endurance races that I want to go to.
Mhm.
I want to stay in a little pod at the Le Mans track.
Yeah.
Yes, those are so
Fall
cool.
Mhm.
asleep to race cars.
It's
Yeah.
Well, if Garage 56 runs again, you're going to be getting woken up every 5 or 6 minutes.
That's true, actually. That's true. Or like the 8 hours of safety cars would all sleep. It's fine.
Yeah.
God, that was brutal.
Yeah,
it was
I would.
so long.
I would love to do. Le Mans. I would love to do I mean, we want to go to Suzuka. We have a very unplanned, tentative plan of hopefully getting there for the 2026 season.
Fingers
We'll
crossed.
see about that.
We all
But
did that in sync.
Suzuka's like a big one I want to go to, and then I would love this year, which I'm not going to be able to, but I would love to get to an Elms race this year. It would be amazing. I mean, I have so many. Well, Logan's not doing it anymore, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Jamie Chadwick and Enzo Fittipaldi, Pietro now. Like now that Pietro was announced.
Yeah, you might
Yeah. You gotta go.
move
I
mountains
have
to get
go,
to Elms.
right? I don't know how I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I also really want to go down to Bathurst. That would be a really cool track to
Oh, yeah.
experience in person.
Yeah.
And just a cool race. Supercars are really cool. I'd go to any Australian supercar race.
I want to go to Australia in the worst way.
Yeah.
Just like in general.
She talks about Australia a lot,
I
actually.
love Australia.
We'll get you there one day, girl.
Yeah.
I would also love to go to the Brazilian GP.
That would be cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's like top on my bucket list of Grand Prix I want to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always an amazing race.
Mm-hmm.
And then you
Not
make that
the
race
rain,
wet
And we just
too.
gotta be prepared to make
Oh.
it for them.
Yeah. Look,
Yeah,
if
there were
you're
a lot of rainy races last year. Canada,
Oh yeah.
Silverstone.
Should we ask them their
Brazil.
opinion about Canada as Ferrari fans?
Maybe we don't bring it up.
Look, all I'm saying is we somehow managed to get the Ferrari the amazing strategy of wets on a dry track and dries on a wet track in the
makes
same
sense.
race.
I don't
That's
think I've
pretty
ever
impressive.
yelled at a computer screen louder than I did that day.
I think we watched that race together and we were both just sitting there like, are those wets? Like, the track's dry. And then at another point, why is he on mediums? The track's getting wet.
It was a mess.
Yeah. Oopsie.
That was a race. That was one of the races of last year.
Yeah. Tend to delete that one from memory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you have any other
I don't know.
questions? No? Well, before we close out this episode, last question I will ask you all is there any way that we can convince you to go to Miami?
This one was not
That's
written down.
way too.
You
so
don't have to convince me. You have to convince my bank account, which just isn't possible.
Right.
Look, I'd love to go to an F1 race, but when I break it down where I can either go to one F1 race or like 3 more IndyCar races, I mean, the racing's just better in IndyCar. I prefer the vibes at IndyCar races. They're
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, I with Coda last year, there's no way I have a better F1 experience than I did in Coda.
That's true.
Like, it's actually physically impossible. So, like,
Stop while you're ahead.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, maybe next year Miami, but this year it's
I'm going to try to
I
make it up
wish.
to Canada maybe next year for that
It'll be fun
race.
to go to.
Because it's a really affordable race. It's like $300, I think, to $200. And I can
Yeah.
drive that instead of fly. I think it's only like 10 or 12 hours away. It's not bad.
Your jaw dropping.
I didn't realize it was that close.
Like,
You just hear
no,
Canada and you think,
somehow Canada is the closest F1 race to us.
yeah.
Or we can get rid of Miami and we can race at Indianapolis again.
Okay, listen, I love Miami. I would love for them to race at Indianapolis. Don't get me wrong, but I love Miami so much that I just don't know if I can get behind that plan.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But Miami has a special place in our heart. It was our first.
Of
Formula
course.
One race. It was our first ever.
And you got to see
anything.
Lando's first win as McLaren fans.
which that
Like,
had to
Which
be
was-
awesome.
We got so many. Ryan texted us and was like, "I'm so happy for you all. Like,
Yeah, like
I'm not
so
happy that
people.
McLaren won, but I'm so happy for you all." No, it was great. It was a great experience.
I'll never forget at Coda where I wanted to go to the podium so badly, and I knew Ryan was my only hope of someone going to the podium with me. So at the beginning of the race, we shook hands. We were like, if Lando or Charles is on the podium, we're going. And then I think like 20 laps to go, we were like, we gotta go.
Yeah.
yeah.
That was
That was an
insane. The
experience.
podium was insane at Coda.
Mhm.
I really hope that IndyCar can kind of bring the F1 podium vibes
Yeah.
over. I think they just need to make it more special.
Mhm.
Not just a wooden platform behind pit lane
Yeah, but I do
looking
like
at you,
how,
Mid-Ohio.
I love how accessible the podiums are for IndyCar, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Don't make it less successful. Just make it more of a spectacle.
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely. So, okay. Well, we appreciate
right.
you all coming.
Yeah,
on
thanks
our
for having
podcast.
us.
Yeah, do you want to shout out your social media?
Yeah, at Outside Line Media is our main one on Instagram, and that's our YouTube as well. We've got 2 other ones, but you can find them in the links on YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah,
so
YouTube and Instagram are the main
at
two.
Outside Line
Post your
Media.
episodes.
YouTube.
We
No
post on Wednesdays.
Wednesdays. Okay.
Wednesdays sometime on Wednesday.
That's so fair.
Perfect.
Depends on how busy work is for me.
Yeah, I get that. So, okay, well, make sure you go follow them. They are very knowledgeable. I ask them so many questions about motorsport constantly, and they put up with it, so I appreciate that. But yeah, make sure you go follow them. Make sure you go follow us as well if you don't already. Formula One is back this week. We're all really excited. And also, along with Formula One, we have Thermal this weekend, as well as Sebring for IMSA. Any other races going on? Is there a NASCAR race next weekend?
There's definitely
Las
NASCAR. I
Vegas.
just can't remember.
It's Las Vegas, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, NASCAR's like every weekend until November, I think. They have a rough schedule.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on. And
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yep.
Bye.